welcome to Firefall Live. My name is Matt, aka Phobos, and I'm joined with my faded Pez and the Cheese, aka Tony and Frank.
Hey,
we have tally lights.
We got tally lights.
Hey, we're down on that camera. I can tell now. Hey, I can know where you guys are and how to talk to you. And by the way, I just want to thank Mad Marty for that disgusting image of Tony and Frank mud wrestling. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to now end the entire show with that image rolling through my head, literally rolling through my head.
No, we won't.
We'll do it for real.
No, we won't.
No.
That's right.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
come
God.
here, Frank.
Yeah,
Just come here.
No.
Come on.
No.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
Later.
Peace.
Anyways, welcome back to Firefall Live. It's our second show of the year. We had hoped to have Crisis and Xenogenic on the show to talk about the PvP-PvE split. Unfortunately, they're not in a position right now where they can really talk about it because there's some things going on. They have a plan, they're implementing that plan, and they need to make sure that everything works out the way they want it to before we really announce what's going on with that plan. So in order to really kind of shake things up, we changed the format of the show a little bit. We're not going to have a guest on the show this week, but we are going to open it up to you guys are our guests, and we're going to have you guys ask us questions, and we'll answer them. We've already taken a lot from the forums and Facebook, Twitter, etc. So we've got our list of questions here, but feel free to ask questions on the chat, and we'll try to get them as quickly as possible, and really try to be as open and honest as we can. And that includes saying things that we don't know, right? Because we're in a position sometimes where we just don't know. But before we get into that, there's some community news. There's some things going on. What's happening right now? Let's see. Production kind of update. We're still working towards things. Everything's still being worked on. We have some milestone plans coming up, but everybody's working on separate teams as we talked about last week. So it's kind of hard to say when a milestone will ship out. I don't think we're really expecting the next patch until the first week of February, and we'll have to see what's ready to go into that patch at that time. So expect that announcement soon. We are working towards another open beta weekend. So where we have people play the game, everybody can help come in and play and do like a stress test on servers.
Yeah.
So that's coming. We'll make an announcement next week on the dates for that. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And that's pretty much our production update for the week. Community news, though. Just a couple of shout outs, right? Like we just wanted to talk about some people doing cool things.
Yeah, definitely. So like the people still riding the Baneclaw train. So, you know, Scarth, who was actually the world first with the Baneclaw Brain Bucket, he's been doing a lot of stuff, like organizing a lot of Baneclaw groups. So we wanted to give him a little love. So thank you, Scarth, for helping people out with the Baneclaw.
Yeah.
Also, on the European side of things, Joka is doing Baneclaw events.
Ooh.
So he's doing his third Baneclaw on Sunday.
Baneclaw's going international. What, Sunday?
Yeah.
Sunday, it's the NFC AFC Championship, son. I got some football to watch.
Aren't there?
Oh, okay.
Sunday's a Pro Bowl, man. You don't even watch Pro Bowl.
Oh, Pro
This
Bowl's next
Sunday.
Sunday.
This.
Oh, yeah, you're
it goes
right.
to the AFC, NFC
Yeah.
Championship.
I'm sorry. Seahawks are out, so I've stopped paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
See?
Dude, we're all like playoff butthurt right now.
No, I can't be because my team didn't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
You're right. You win.
So to sign up for the European Baneclaw, Joka's got a thread in the beta general discussion. So, you know, go ahead, put in your information. It's Sunday at 8 o'clock GMT.
Okay.
PM.
Cool. Awesome. We also want to say Vex Gaming is continuing their tournament finally.
Yay!
We've had some problems with the PvP servers launching and the challenge system working, so we tried to work out all those problems. I've been testing with the Vex Gaming guys pretty much every week to try to fix any issues that are coming up, and hopefully we've got them all solved at this point, and they are able to do their finals for which is Hubris versus Vex Gaming. Get Vexed.
That's
gonna be
the
a cool
ladder
match.
update.
Hubris is dominating so
stacked.
far, so they're stacked. They are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool Matt running the table.
I'm gonna still blame
He
Tailspin, who's in the channel, was in the channel for
He
a
was
while.
there.
I blame Tailspin for letting Hubris just run all over everybody.
Yeah, tailspin.
He could have come in there and done something about it, and he chose not to.
He did.
With
I'm
great
very,
power
very,
comes
very
great
disappointed.
responsibility, Tailspin. Damn it. You had a responsibility. It is your fault. It is your fault.
It is your fault.
If I had your talents, I don't even
Oh,
know.
T2 is still saying Dark Hour. You said Dark Hour's not playing.
I don't know. if you look at the thing, it already says like Dark Hour's out.
Well, I hope Dark Hour does go through. They
So-
were in the losers bracket, but they do have a chance to come back up and take out whoever wins. So
Yeah.
hopefully they do play. So Alandar's saying no, you're not. They're going to argue about whether they're still in the league or not, but we'll see the finals this weekend, 3 p.m. on Sunday. So be sure to check that out. We've been remiss in not advertising our fan sites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yes.
We typically like to announce them at every show to remind people that they're out there, and we have not done that in a while. So I want to go through kind of our list of known fan sites. If you do run a fan site and I'm not mentioning it here, be sure to let me know, and we'll add it to the list for next time. But some of our English fan sites, bronadon.com, been around for a very long time. It's run by
Woo.
Punk. Very good job.
Yep.
LimelightEsports.com. They were one of the first to run tournaments and do things. So
Yeah. That's Bloody Kulati and Sambasti, and they do a lot of like tutorials and stuff on.
And Sambasti has just started to do broadcasting,
Yep.
And he was helping out with Nero during the Vex
Yep.
tournament. Our German community has a CopaCabanaExpress.com. These guys go around and like to really scan hammer Bronodons and do crazy
Copacabana
shit.
Express. I'm just gonna tease this. Copacabana Express has a video coming out,
Yeah.
and it is awesome.
I saw it.
It's
It's
like Robot
amazing.
Chicken.
It's-
Yeah, I sent it to you guys.
It's
It is hysterical. Like I've watched it 6 times. Hysterical.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we air it. It's gonna be good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Polish site, Firefall.pl, which just celebrated their anniversary a few weeks back. I
December?
wish I could remember how to say happy anniversary again, but I can't because I don't speak Polish. Firefall.es is our Spanish contingent. So
Español.
Espanol.
Mi familia.
No.
Mi
Español.
familia es español.
My family is Spanish. It's
But that's
a
Italian.
language. I know. I'll just move on to the next fan site.
Okay. Russian site, firefallfan.com for you Russian fans out there. And then we've got a lot of the communities that are just starting their own kind of community forums in our forums under the
Yeah.
community site feedback. So we've got Brazilian, we've got Czech, we've got French, we've got all the other ones.
That's not what that form's for.
That's not really what the forum's for, but you guys took it over, so have fun. Enjoy, talk to your friends, talk to everybody that's going on those. We will have, as we've talked about before, we plan on supporting German and French and English by launch, and then we'll add on additional languages later. Certain regions are just outside of our control, so like Asia, Southeast Asia, Russia, a lot of Eastern Europe, Brazil, etc., are not Red 5, so we won't be running the communities through those, but we will work with the providers to provide as best community we can.
That's right.
We've had a lot of streamers come out of the woodwork
a lot of
recently, which is
streamers.
great. We love to see more and more people streaming the game. So, if you guys missed out on T2 or Teatwoo,
Oh,
as he likes to
God.
call himself,
No, he says it's T2.
No,
He
it's
says,
T2.
I don't know why people are
He
calling
made a
it
big.
Teatwoo.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, it's an OO at the end. How is that hard to understand?
And now
Teatwoo.
apparently it's
Teatwoo.
Teatwoo.
I'm calling him
but-
Teatwoo.
Teatwoo.
You spell it that way, I'm
It's-
gonna call it that
It's
way, all right?
T2. It's T and then 2 TWO with an extra O. T2.
That would be Teatwoo.
But that's like meta, having it so meta and then so meta across different platforms. But anyways, T2 did a 12-hour plus broadcast the
I
other
watched
day
like a good 6
where
hours
he
of
like
that.
danced for 2 hours. It was really weird.
He
but
literally caused
It was
myself, as Zevis and Booster to create our own dance party in the 4th floor, and we took Twitter pictures.
I couldn't help but like sit there in my seat and jam along to him.
Yeah, you
Like-
know,
Call him whatever you want.
he brings it out of you.
He says, "Call me whatever you want."
Oh my God. For those of you that can't understand that Moobot does one thing only. It prevents caps.
It has one job.
That's all. Just don't type in caps. It's not that hard. Type all lowercase. Add exclamation points to get your anger out there, but just don't type in caps. Anyways, moving on. Meta also does a lot of streaming, as we mentioned.
Yep.
Sorry, for those of you who missed T2, he actually streams on Twitch TV/T2 with 2 O's at the
Yep.
end. TWOO.
We'll provide you all with the links if you miss them.
Yeah, we'll post them up later. Meta is a great player. He's on Hubris. He does a great job. Excellent Assault, plus he plays other classes. But yeah, you see him in Assault, run away. He plays on Twitch TV/SoMeta, SOMETA. So check him out. He streams quite often. The 8-Bit Tavern guys, they do Friday Night Firefall. which is awesome. They do all kinds of things, including like Scanhammer PvP.
Yeah, they do a lot of fun stuff.
You know, abilities and Scanhammers only, I think, is what they typically do.
That's the one big one, but they do all kinds of other fun stuff, like just like tooling around. And
so check them out. They're every Friday night.
Friday night at 8 Eastern.
Yeah, they do Friday night Firefalls, and they plan to have a big announcement tonight. So they messaged me this morning saying they have a big announcement tonight. So be sure to check that out tonight on twitch.tv/8bit tavern. So check that out. Firewater is back. He typically streams quite a bit.
Yeah, Firewater's back.
Twitch TV/FirewaterFX. So check that out. Tavarish Gaming, Twitch TV/Tavarish Gaming.
And then another one we left off the list I forgot right at the end, but I'm still thinking about you, Superior. So Twitch TV/Superior Soup, as in the soup you eat.
Yeah.
He also does a lot of streaming tier 2 PvP.
Yeah. A lot of sniper.
A lot of recon. So you're gonna watch that guy play some recon. It's pretty damn good.
That's pretty much it for the community news. I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go ahead and dive into your questions. It'll be a nice long segment with just your questions. So be sure to stick around. We've got our list. Formulate your own questions for chat. We'll be right back.
Welcome back for our second episode about Firefall. Time to get to the good stuff. Why this game will be quite different than what we've seen before, if they can manage to execute on what they're planning at Red 5. Today we'll be talking about what they call staged content. I would have gone with awesome storyline unlocks, but I guess when you're trying to pitch ideas, sometimes you need to make things sound a little more formal or whatever. The basic concept behind staged content is actually pretty straightforward, but it throws everything we know about MMOs on its head. You see, most big MMORPGs deliver content to you as fast as the developers can build it, but that's not exactly how Firefall's gonna work. In order to give the players agency over the world, in order to allow the players to have a real impact on the world they're playing in, towns, dungeons, entire zones will only open up if the players achieve certain things in the game world. This may not seem like madness, but man, you should have seen James when he first heard about it. He walked in circles muttering to himself for a little while, had a little conniption fit, and then he finally declared, "I agree," before walking off. Why, you ask? Because they plan to implement this from the very outset of the game, by which I mean that more of the game will be made and ready to go than is immediately accessible to players right off the bat, solely for the sake of, hopefully, creating a deeper feeling of ownership over the world for the players. You see, it's established wisdom in the MMORPG industry that you must launch with as much content as you possibly can. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, "Oh, there's nothing to do" in a new MMO? Or read in a review that there's just not enough content at launch when considering a new massive multiplayer experience? Without enough content, players run out of things to do, and they drift off before you can even get your first major content patch out. And unfortunately, as the years have gone on, both players and reviewers have become less and less charitable about what an acceptable amount of initial content is, as they subconsciously compare every MMO that comes out to certain other MMORPGs that, in all fairness, kinda have an 8-year head start. This means, from the perspective of conventional wisdom, it's suicide to launch without letting your players access every little thing you've got. But that's exactly what they're doing for Firefall. So why did James eventually decide this made sense? Well, to understand that, we've got to talk a little bit more about exactly what staged content is. You know how in most MMORPGs, you grind some mobs, you kill a boss, see if you got any usable loot, and then you wait for them to respawn so you can do it again? Sooner or later, that loses all meaning. This takes you out of the world. Instead of fighting epic battles, you find yourself just taking actions by rote. Well, staged content gives player actions meaning again. In the Firefall world, there's something called the Melding. We'll talk more about it when we get into the Firefall mythos later, but for right now, you can just think of it as intergalactic death fog. Anyway, the Melding has taken over most of the world. Humans are just barely holding on. One city and a few acres of land is all that's left. But you, as players, can help push back the Melding, revealing lost zones, new monsters, even cities previously swallowed by it. So now, instead of just fighting a dragon and seeing if it drops something you can use, you might have a mission to destroy a group of generators. And though you and your entire party get wiped out at the end, you, with your last shot, take out that last generator. And when you wake up, you find that you've helped roll back the Melding and unveiled a new zone for everybody. And these aren't just restricted to individual quests. These are also group-wide efforts undertaken by the entire community. Say some part of the world temporarily rescued from the Melding might collapse, and while high-level members of the community might be tasked with guarding refugees and fighting off the hordes as the Melding reclaims the city around them, low-level members might have to gather supplies for the refugees to make sure they can survive when they get back to civilization. And when enough supplies have been gathered, and enough refugees have made it back to safety, thanks to the actions of the players, a new town may pop up in the very next patch, built and populated by the refugees you all worked so hard to defend. This should create a real sense of community. Everyone will be striving for the same goals, except when they're not, but we're not going to talk about that quite yet. But hopefully this system will help create the sort of bond that you just don't get in current MMOs. This will also actually stretch how much play people get out of a piece of content. Red 5 isn't a huge studio. It's no juggernaut to compete with some of the giants out there, so they have to find better ways to allow people to get more out of what they can build, and this is one of them. Instead of just blazing through all the content in the game like players usually do whenever a new patch or an expansion is released, people will have community-wide goals to work towards, which will allow everyone to get a lot more out of the content which is released. Basically, instead of incentivizing you to keep replaying the same content over and over, simply by making that breastplate you really want only drop 1 out of every 100 times you killed a specific monster, Firefall incentivizes you to stay by allowing you to help the community shape the world. When you choose to grind, you'll be grinding to help leave your mark on the Firefall universe, and determine which way the story goes. So even though in terms of raw polygons and geography and enemy types, Firefall probably won't have as much as other MMOs out there available from the start, staged content might be a way to make it all more meaningful, to give the player agency over their world and stretch out the life cycle of the content that's there. And that's why, in the end, even though it flies in the face of everything he's experienced in the MMO industry, James agreed with the decision. It's a huge risk, and it might not work out. People may leave before they realize just how the staged content thing works, or like anything new, it simply might not work the first time it's tried. But if they can get it right, staged content allows the folks at Red 5 to give the player a level of control over their world like we've never seen. Here's to hoping, because that is something we would love to see. Thanks for watching, we'll see you again soon.
Welcome back to Firefall Live. Apparently, I'm doing a pre-smile.
You are. She's doing the countdown. Marjorie's doing the countdown. It's like 10, 9, and he goes, around 7, he's like, yeah.
Did you ever see, did you see Chappelle's show?
I turn it on, I turn it off. I do what I need to do.
Hey, man, I'm mad at you. I'm mad.
Did you see Chappelle's show when they're doing like the player haters ball stuff and they're making fun of Charlie Murphy? Like it's like they do the countdown and Charlie Murphy's like all serious, like straight face, and all of a sudden, like they start doing the countdown and he's just like,
Hey.
Anyways, we said we were going to have a different format today. We're going to actually do some Q&A sessions. So the next long segment is going to be all about your guys' questions. We've got a lot of questions already from the forums, Facebook, etc. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. These two guys will try to keep an eye on chat to see what you guys are asking to follow up. But first, we're going to hit some questions right off the bat from Facebook and the forums.
Yeah, went through, got a bunch of questions off from the forums. I think I got one question off Twitter and the Facebook page. So, you want us to give you some?
No, I can read.
Oh.
My mom taught me how to read.
Perfect.
Someone did. I don't forget who.
I forget who.
I like that too, Legend. Thank you.
So, just right off the bat, the question that we saw a lot of was about the PvP PvE split. So I apologize to you guys. We tried to tease it in advance, and that was my mistake. I should have known that it's going to take a little bit longer to figure those things out. But I really want to make sure that Crisis and Xenogenic are here. They understand the system backwards and forwards, and they're going to be the best people to give you guys the answers that you were looking for. And because they're not yet ready to talk about that, we're going to skip that question. So I apologize in advance. We're not going to be talking about the PvE PvP split. It is a huge change coming up. We want to make sure we do it right. We want to make sure that we can answer all your questions before we really dive into that. So even though that question was mentioned multiple times in the forums, I'm going to just address that right now, and we're going to skip over that. So a couple of things that have happened, or questions are like, what is the future of the PvE system? This is from J.M. Villamore. What is the future of the PvE system? Will it be at party dungeon instances with epic boss fights? So Baneclaw is a kind of a proof of concept of a boss fight that we wanted to do. It's in the open world. We wanted to see how well we could do an open world boss fight, make it so that you guys could spawn it. So it's one of those dynamic events that the player controls and spawns on their own. I think as a proof of concept, it's worked really well. Mm-hmm. People enjoy it. It does have its flaws and its drawbacks. The fight itself is, a little bit, you're just shooting a big blob until he takes damage. So I think there's some more we can do to make those fights more engaging. We have a lot of plans for different big boss creatures and how you fight with them and how the player engages with them and does like stage content, stage fighting over time to make it more like a boss battle than just a hit point blob. Those things are coming. Previously, we've had PvE instances. We actually, back in early 2010, we had multiple PvE instances where you could actually, spawn out this little PvE thing for your squad and go through, and there's a neat story, and you walk through the mission, and we had a lot of fun making those. They weren't, obviously the polished level. They were, again, proofs of concept to see, is it possible with our technology? What would be required to do it? Is it fun? Because everything at Red 5 comes down to, is it fun? And we found that while it was fun, it was going to take a lot of time in order to do. So I definitely think that we'll come back to those at some point to definitely have these. I've got my squad, or maybe multiple squads in a platoon type format, and we go and do these PvE instance events. Not necessarily raid type events. Although we have talked about raids, I know Xenogenic has a bunch of ideas. He's a huge raider in WoW, and so he's got 10 years of experience doing hardcore raids in WoW, and he would really love to bring some of that.
WoW has been out for 10 years.
8 years, sorry. Close to 10.
Way off.
Way off. My apologies.
How dare you come up with an estimate in your head?
God. Anyways, so he definitely wants to really do some of those. So expect some of that stuff to come online, but not this quarter, and probably not this first half of the year, because that's just not on the list of things that we're trying to get done. That could change, may change. So please don't take that as the word of God or anything. We obviously take your feedback into consideration. We take how many people we have on staff. Those of you that read my post on the forums know that we've grown our staff by almost 50% just in the past 6 months. So if we grow to a point where we have enough people that we can build these things in conjunction with the other stuff we have planned, then great, we'll get it done. But some of that stuff is coming. So very cool stuff. Jason Highland asked, there are a few large, totally cool vehicles in Thump Dump. Are these purely eye candy or perhaps hint at things to come? Please tell me it's the latter. It's a little bit of both, actually. So those vehicles that you see in Thump Dump are really old vehicles that some of you may remember from our recruitment video, was driving around like a really long time ago. Our style has changed a lot since then. So those vehicles are kind of teasers that we have big vehicles. We won't be using those vehicles. We are concepting new vehicles.
I'm
And
excited. Those look fun.
Well, I remember when I first started that I was taking screenshots, and I'd get those vehicles in the screenshots. I was like, these are badass, and everyone's like, we can't show those. Like, why? Because they're not finished. They're not going to look like that once those vehicles are available.
those were kind of quickly thrown together, concepted, built, etc., just to test the vehicle system. But we do have plans for medium and heavy sized vehicles that you guys will be able to use. Some of those may be coming on sooner than even I think. I've seen some of them already being modeled, and they've gone past the concept stage into the modeling stage much sooner than I would have thought. So those are being worked on as we speak. So I don't know when they're coming online, but definitely we will have more vehicles, including the heavier vehicles, but not the ones you see with the big claw front and the black covering and stuff with the big jet engines on the back. That's not our style for our vehicles. You guys can see more of our style in the LGVs, the Akira style LGV. Not the chopper one is obviously kind of a special thing for the commander pack, but the Akira style LGV with you're leaning forward that you see when you get an LGV event, those are more our vehicle style. So expect more of that. And that includes flying vehicles as well. So I've seen a lot of flying vehicles being concepted and built right now. So
flying vehicles.
What's that?
Flying vehicles.
Yeah,
flying. I love walking around looking at computer screens. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do. When I walk around, I'm like, oh man, what? Oh dang, that looks cool. Like, I know they're, a long way away from being in the game, but just being able to see what people are working on is really exciting. Just
some follow-up questions I'm seeing here. Will vehicles be armed? So part of, I think, our design philosophy is that vehicles be an open cockpit so that you can always see who's piloting it, and that passengers, if there are passengers, can shoot out. So whether vehicles have armaments themselves, I don't know. We've talked about that in the past. Whether that's still the plan for the future, I'm not sure. But pretty much our design philosophy is that passengers should be able to engage in combat while driving in a vehicle, so that they can have some fun doing that. So at the very least, you should see some of that stuff coming on board.
And Scare also asked, will we see more LGV race events?
Yeah, potentially. We talked about some various things. There was some interesting conversation in the office yesterday.
Yeah.
About letting players build their own races.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we really need to decide how does that work before
Yeah.
we can figure out whether we release it or not. But there are definitely ideas for more LGV races. We built some racetracks back in the day that I don't know if we'll implement in the world in different spots, but there's some cool racetracks that have been built. So yeah, we can definitely see some of that stuff. Moving on from vehicles, I know you guys are continuing, so feel free to keep asking questions about vehicles. We'll see if there's anything great in there.
Got my eye on them.
But going on to PvP, Kuzi, aka Tarza, asked, can we expect a 5v5 ladder system or just a solo queue ladder system for PvP? If there were set times in the ranked matches, were at, people would play more and there would be better matches. So the ladder system that you're talking about, the ladder system we see being implemented first, and this is just first, is an ELO style ladder system. So it would still be a queued system. You would queue up and it would try to match you with people nearest your ELO rank, and then depending on the ELO rating, you would win or lose and get more points. Basic, very simple ELO system because it's very easy to implement, and there's not a requirement for trying to schedule matches. I've always loved a ranked ladder where you actually challenge up. I feel like that is so much better because then because I've always been a proponent of if I'm 30 on the ladder and I challenge number 2 and I beat number 2, I should be number 2.
Right.
I beat them. They should become number 3 and I become number 2 because I just beat them. So I always loved that kind of ranked ladder system. I would love to see that implemented. But for first pass, we're going with a very simple ELO ladder system because it's very easy to implement. 5v5 and solo, I can see that. I think if you, we're kind of going with the idea that if you solo or duo queue, you would be going in for a solo match. Mm-hmm. If you queue as a 5, you would be queuing as a team. So you need to have all your people as a team that are all associated with the same team, and they would queue together, and then that would be tracked. So you'd build up your little team of maybe up to 10 people, but as long as 5 people are queuing as the same team, they would queue up for the 5v5 ranked. And so there'll be different queues. There'll be regular PvP and there'll be ranked PvP. Ranked PvP would be on this ladder system. We're hoping that can come online really soon, as in like hopefully this quarter, potentially going into early, late spring-ish. Mm-hmm. So hopefully very, very soon because I'm really pushing for that. I've been pushing for that for, a year now. It really requires some web development time. It requires some guys that are working on some very important stuff for us. So hopefully we can get a little bit of their time.
And just to bring up real quick, Fluffy Death just mentioned
Sleep.
That Necro is going to be having some kind of event soon, so look for that.
Oh, we're going to have another
for those LGV races.
Race across New Eden, kind of a deal.
That's cool. They did a great job with their previous LGV race. I'd love to see them do even more. So that's really great, guys. Mm-hmm. We love seeing you guys do these kind of events, doing the Vex tournament, Bronodon Brawl, the Necro races. You guys running these things is great. It really brings more and more people into the community and gives them something to do. And it really kind of takes a lot of work off of our backs to keep this stuff going. We really do appreciate that. So if you are running something, let us know so we can help you advertise it. Sorry, I want to get to Ragey's question. That is, or is it Racky? Racky. Usual format in competitive PvP games is 5v5. It seems like you're planning to stick to it. Did you consider using a 3v3 format? It has a lot of advantages regarding team making, finding matches, etc., and it doesn't necessarily hinder the gameplay if the maps and game modes are made accordingly. We have talked about various team sizes throughout the development of the game. We've kind of stuck on 5v5. I think this is my personal opinion now, so please take it for what that's worth. But 3v3 in a class-based game is very difficult to do. 3v3 works great if everybody's equal and everybody's the exact same. In a class-based game, you're really limiting yourself because you can't have the combinations that you could have with 5v5. And that it is easier to put a team together. It's very, 3v3 is very easy to do. Mm-hmm. But I think that you're missing out with a class-based game, that you just can't really have the in-depth strategies. What I think you'll end up seeing is a lot of the same combinations. They'll find out whatever the best combination, whether that be like 2 assaults and 1 medic, and that will be it. That will be how everybody plays, because if you play it the wrong way, you'll lose. And that's not the kind of gameplay we want. We want those interesting strategies, those interesting mixes. For those of you that have watched old school like WoW Arena with 2v2 and 3v3 ladders, there's that combination that's just like this is it. That's the combination.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you're not playing that combination, you're screwed because they figured out how to do it. So yeah, and Eric, yes, I would assume 3 assaults would pretty much dominate a 3v3, especially right now with the way the classes are balanced.
Yes.
So we have talked about different formats. We found that 5v5 is the best mix of allowing for a lot of customization, allowing for a lot of strategy, while also not creating a team size that's too big for competition. 5v5 has worked for Counter-Strike for many years, and I think that it will work perfectly for Firefall. So,
I don't think those are hints at assault nerfs.
what?
Raging thinks that you're hinting at
He's
just.
hinting at
The assault does need to be nerfed.
Well,
All the classes need to be nerfed. We have no constraints on anything right now, so
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
like, everything needs to be nerfed, guys. We turned off constraints, and we know what that means. So we're not.
That question's way too hard to answer. Entropy Rising. I'm sorry. That's just
Dapper jaunty hats?
soon.
What is a dapper jaunty hat?
It's a.
What?
Do you not know what a dapper jaunty hat is?
No, I don't. That's what
Oh
I'm
my
asking. What is
goodness.
What is that?
I can't even talk to you guys.
Oh, see, you don't know what it is either. You,
I mean, I know what dapper means, and I know what jaunty means, but putting them together and adding
That's a
hat
hat.
to the end doesn't really like.
I have no idea.
Okay, anyways, moving on. Some battle frame changes. Well, this is kind of much bigger than battle frame, so let me see what I can do here. Elemus Nalo asks, what features do you plan to have before launch? Specifically, Tier 3 armies, but would like to know about other stuff too. So this is a much bigger question because what is launch? We've talked for a long time about what is the launch of Firefall? What does that mean, right? Are we launched right now?
Yeah.
We take money. People pay through the game if they want. They pay for red beans. They can buy items in game. We've said no more XP wipes, so your progression isn't going to go away. Are we launched?
I mean, I guess you could, if it just depends what your definition of launch is.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think that's the real definition here. Is I would say that we're not in a launch state right now. That while the product itself may have launched, and we try to treat it as a launch product because we are running a service. So we have people monitoring the service 24 hours a day. We have customer support going. We have all these things that a launch product would have. We are still very much a beta.
So Elemis, clarify when beta tag drops equals launch then.
Well, so then let's talk about the next stage of our launch, which is open beta, right? Right now we're in a closed beta. You have to have an invite to get in. It may be pretty easy to get an invite, but you still need an invite.
Yeah.
At some point this year, we are going to remove that restriction and it becomes open beta. Now anyone can play it without having to pay anything, get a key, do anything. They can just download the client and play.
That's what I would consider as a launch.
It's still beta though.
It's still beta.
I mean, I don't know.
I would agree that
Yeah.
as far as any kind of management structure, any kind of tool set, we should consider that launch from that point of view. But it will not be feature complete, right? Because that's not how Red 5 develops the game. Red 5 develops the game in iterations, and we respond to feedback, and we continue to develop the game. And no MMO is ever feature complete.
Right.
I mean, I think everybody can agree to that. Some MMOs do launch with a launch feature set, and they say that that's our launch feature set. Red 5 doesn't really have that. We don't have that feature set that we say, once we have X, we are now launched, and we're
Right.
done. Our beta is much more about when are our core systems completely finished? When do we have enough content that players stick around and have this enjoyable experience? When are we as bug-free as possible to consider ourselves no longer a beta? When do we have all the tools and infrastructure in place to handle the player base for the foreseeable future?
Right.
Once we reach that state, that's when I think that we could call ourselves feature complete. I don't know when that date is. That date could be 7 years from now.
Oh boy.
I hope it's not. Please don't.
Oh
It's
boy.
not. Open beta is this year. Open beta is this year. We are absolutely opening the game up to everyone this year. That was a promise from me to you. Okay? You guys, if we don't do it, come back and talk to me. And I'm willing to take the heat for that. So, Frank's laughing at me. He's like,
Right.
Matt's dead. No, I'm promising you
You
guys
said
this.
7 years, Phobos.
So, So I've said it many times that we hope to be launched by the open beta by the end of the year. We hope to have everyone playing the game by the end of the year. I've said that 2 years in a row now. Darn it!
No one believes
It's happening.
On the forums, people are like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we heard this
I
before.
heard this story before.
So-
I don't know. I read in a New York text.
Yeah, that's
in a
very good.
New York accent. Yeah.
So now that we've kind of identified launch, right? So there's closed beta, open beta, removal of the beta tag. Removal of the beta tag could be a long time from now. Open beta, between open beta and the removal of the beta tag, there will be a point where we think we're feature complete. And then we'll remove the beta tag at some point after that once we're bug complete. Like we've got enough bugs solved that we're good. But I don't know when that period is going to be. So to ask what we're going to have before launch is very difficult. To ask what we're going to have before open beta, probably not a whole lot more than what we currently have. We want to have, content-wise, we want to fix the systems that we have currently, right? So that's why we're doing the PvE, PvP split, which will change a lot of how the system works. It'll change how tiers work, potentially. We may be getting rid of a tier system altogether. It changes the way PvE works, because the whole reason we had tier system was to segregate PvP, and you had these nice bands of PvP.
Yep.
But if you remove that constraint, what's the point of the tier system now? Could you have just a straight up leveling system in PvE and just a flat PvP structure?
Right.
That could happen. So to ask when are we going to have tier 3, I don't know. We definitely have plans for new battle frames. So you've seen them in the tier 3 list, but those don't necessarily need to be tier 3 battle frames. Those could be balanced around everything else and just be another battle frame that you guys can have access to. So depending on what's going to happen with the PvP PvE split determines what happens with tier system in general. And that's why we're waiting until Crisis and Xenogenic have enough of that done so that we can talk about what does that mean for you guys.
That's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a great day.
You know what I'm bummed about?
What are
Is
you
that
bummed
I'm going to
about?
be over there in the dark while they're over here talking about the good stuff. I'm going to be over there like, oh man, that sounds really cool.
So that's to answer the tier 3 question. Armies, though, I'd very much like to see armies come online this quarter.
Yeah.
We are very close. For some of you may remember, we had armies in the game a long time ago. It was not
To an
supposed to be in
extent.
the game, but it was accidentally in the game for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And they worked. They had some bugs, obviously, because they weren't supposed to be in the game, but they worked for the basics. So I could consider basic army structure in, hopefully this quarter, and the idea that you can register your army, you can have a roster of players, you can have a commander, you can have the social structure of an army. Army tech trees and any kind of like army housing or guild bank systems or any of the advanced functionality of an army, probably not this quarter, but probably not for a little while longer, if ever.
Probably soon.
I'm not going to say soon. I don't know where the soon TM came from. I try to avoid saying soon as much as possible, unless I mean like in the next 3 months.
I think it's words that were put in our mouths.
Yeah.
And then we just started like, fine.
Anyways,
soon.
I'm not trying to say soon, but army systems, basic army structure, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because I think it's required before we hit open beta stage to have some of those social media, or
excited
not
for
social
that.
media, but social infrastructure in place.
Do you guys have your army tags saved already?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, R5.
R5? Are you serious? Team Sweat Rag Army.
Other features, obviously, new user experience. I think everybody can agree is required before we get into an open beta stage.
Yeah.
Please.
Because if we don't have that thing that really draws players in and gets them into the game, then we're going to have complications later on down the road. So new user experience, I think, is definitely a required thing. The PvP PvE split is a required function. We really want to rework the crafting system, which is another question I saw in here, but I'll try to address it very briefly right now, is that the crafting system was a first implementation. It needs a lot more iteration on it before we consider it done. As you guys have said before, like, why are we thumping? Why are we collecting these resources? Those whys haven't been put in the game yet, which creates a sense that I'm just grinding these resources for no reason.
Yeah.
So once those whys get in and that loop is complete, then it really creates this interesting dynamic system that I think you guys will enjoy. So that will happen. Mega Koresh is saying, just don't get rid of the tech tree system. I don't know that we will. I think there will still be some kind of unlock and tree system or some kind of progression within.
I think we were really happy with like the way that works mechanically. I think we like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some issues with it, like unlocking things that you don't want in order to get other things. I mean, we've heard those complaints, and we'll try to think of that. But so to answer, in the end, I'm really sorry, Alamis Nalo. I know I haven't really answered your question about exact features that are going to come. There are certain required features that we absolutely want to get in line before we hit open beta, and then there are a bunch of features that we'd love to get in the game before we launch. And I think that if you look at the timeline on our website, you'll see some of those features like open world PvP, the full complete, chapter 1 of the story, getting to the point where you're pushing back the melding and all that kind of stuff. Those are features that we want to get in before launch, but they won't necessarily be in before open beta.
I guess in line with battleframes, Mega Kuresh asked earlier when we first started the Q&A session, what about different models of different looking weapons and different looking armors, like so that I can tell that you're wearing. I mean, it's come up a lot in the art feedback forums where it's just like kind of like I can't tell if all the battleframes look the same.
Yeah, no. So we have different. The idea with the tier, one of the things that worked with the tier system really well was that we have these tiers of battleframes.
Yeah.
Because in the old game, before we did the tier system, you leveled up your battleframe and you got higher level equipment as you leveled up. And we had 3 tiers of visual battleframe upgrades and 5 tiers of visual backpack upgrades, giving your character a different look as you leveled up. At the time, we had only released tier 1 of the battleframe and I think 2 or 3 levels of the backpacks, so people could see that visual upgrade. But we were hoping that with the tier system, as you upgrade it to the different tiers, you'll notice that when you get your new reactor, it's a different reactor, right? So that gives you a different look. And then when you hit tier 3, you might get the different battle frame look. And so that really depends on how progression works in the game. Will determine whether you look different. I would love to see, I think a lot of people would love to see, including the artists, would love to see that the Tiger Claw looks a little bit different than the, my mind just went blank. What's the other one, Tiger Claw?
Firecat.
Firecat, thank you. That looks a little bit different than the Firecat. Maybe they have different shaped shoulders or, like maybe some like claws coming out of the hands or, just a little slight differences to make them feel a little bit different. Unfortunately, that's just modeling time, right? That comes down to how many artists do we have and how much can we do. We started working on what abilities you had equipped changed the look of your battle frame.
Yeah.
That started with the assault, and you'll notice that when you equip Afterburner, you get the little things on your boots. When you equip Crater, you get
the light
the
on
the wider boot bottoms with a light on around the bottom.
I think there's one for Shockwave.
Shockwave has like a little arm
right.
piece that comes onto it. So those are some visual differences that you get with equipment, and that was kind of the idea moving forward. Unfortunately, as things shifted, we stopped focusing on that in order to put art time behind other things.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be able to shift back to that at some point, and you'll see more and more visual changes between different things. So, okay. Mused asked, will new kind of battle frames be unlocked for us, not new tiers, new battle frames? So that kind of goes back to the tier system of, what is that? I don't know the quote.
Soon.
No. It kind of goes, when you talk about new tiers, if the tier system exists, battle frames will be unlocked in the tiers. So just like you unlock a mammoth right now, then you unlock whatever the next battle frame type could be called. There's 3 battle frames there.
I think he means sort of like when people refer to Morningstar as an engineer, we say she's hot.
New archetypes. Is that what you're talking? I assume. Let's talk about that then. So we have the 5 archetypes of assault, biotech, recon, dreadnought, and engineer.
Yes.
So are there going to be different archetypes? Potentially, yes. We have, since I've started, we have 8 or 10 archetypes defined.
Wow.
And that's just what we had defined previously.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
So that's possible, but that doesn't mean those are going to come online. Those were ideas.
Right.
We limited down to the 5 that we have right now in order to keep things simple and keep things nice.
Yeah.
But it is possible in the future that some of those could come online. I think you're more likely to see in the near future more battle frame types within those archetypes than new archetypes coming online. A new archetype would definitely be more of something I would imagine in like a free expansion pack, something that's much larger that we spend a lot more time on post-game launch. So definitely it's a possibility. So, another Alaminus Nalo question about stat tracking. Are you planning to have stat tracking accessible, or will it be a responsibility of add-on creators to provide, i.e. damage done, taken, healed in each frame, furthest broken down, blah, blah, blah. We are working on stats.
Yep.
We record a lot of stats already. We don't have that open to you guys to look at yet. Even internally, we don't have a lot of access to the system. It's just kind of like a data dump right now, and we need to build systems to parse that data and present it to users in a way that they can access it. I see that less being of an in-game feature and more of a web API feature.
Yeah.
Probably. In-game will probably provide you some basic stats, some of the things that we find interesting. You already see some of those stats on the dashboard that launches up.
Yep.
You'll see some of those stats, but I think the more advanced stats will be open up in an API so that our fan sites can create stats pages and we can create stats pages from those things. So,
Sounds fun.
Subwater battle frame coming to a concept dev one day sooner. It just doesn't make any sense.
subwater, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
like,
not gonna have swimming in the game for long.
You can't swim in a battle frame. It's just like a huge reactor. That just makes
Well,
absolutely
you can't
no
swim
sense.
in any of the current battle frames. I think that's the point.
What was the G.I. Joe that had the big old giant, like,
That's the wrong person.
Wait, who?
he was just a big giant like mech guy that like walked underwater and he'd come up.
Oh, I don't know. I just.
Or am
that
I
doesn't
thinking of
really
those
make-
fake G.I. Joes? Which one?
Probably you might be thinking of the fake ones. I mean,
the fake
I
G.I.
don't-
Joes? Is
Yeah,
it-
remember the
Oh,
fake G.I. like it wasn't Go, like kind of Transformer has GoBots and there was another one. Anyways,
maybe you're thinking of Mask
Oh, I used to play so many G.I. Joes when I was a child.
or Wheeled Warriors.
moving on. More questions. When is the next patch? Update, upgrade, good thing, extra stuff to do, nice stuff coming out. I think we said next patch is hopefully the first week of February. How much will be in that patch, we don't know yet. It'll depend on how much is done by the time that patch. There are certain things that we're working on that have to be released with that patch, but then we're going to have another patch later after that. So it kind of depends on what's ready. So I don't want to say what will be in it until we're closer. Sorry.
Yeah.
When will Chosen Invasions? This is Sinus X. Sinusix?
Sinew 6.
Sinusix. When will Chosen Invasions be put back into beta? It's a good question.
That's a good question.
There are bugs with the Chosen Invasion right now. There are missing.
Melding hissers.
What about the melding hissers?
The bugs.
Not those kind of bugs. Like, yeah, there are definitely issues with the Chosen Invasion.
Oh, Frank.
So there's a couple things that we're working on with Chosen Invasions. We have. Sorry, I'm reading questions. We have.
You like?
Well, I
was
saw
like,
this
oh
like,
my God.
is Red 5 worried that other gaming companies might have beta testers that might steal ideas for their own MMO?
I thought
Well,
you just had a stroke. Like seriously, you were just like, oh, and battleframe.
He just hit post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Like
Just
half
like,
your face just kind of slid down. Like, we need to call an ambulance.
Purple monkey dishwasher. Anyway, sorry.
Purple.
We're not worried about beta testers stealing our ideas. Like, it takes time to build these things, and we're not worried about them. Anyways, back to Chosen Invasions. There are definitely some bugs with Chosen Invasion. AI performance issues, scaling for multiple players, just how fun is it, right? So we've done some iterations on it. But I think first is what they're planning on is making sure that the Chosen Warfront feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing in Chosen Invasions once you actually feel like Chosen are a danger to the world. Because as of right now, like you can take out Chosen pretty easily and you can push them back completely.
Yeah.
So we need to work on that system a little bit better and make sure that the Chosen can push into the cities and actually feel like it's a valid thing. So that will probably happen first. It shows more work on the Chosen Warfront in general before Chosen Invasions come back online. So expect to see those in the future, but not probably for a little while. Sorry, I had to swallow something.
It's all right. Hey, man.
All right. We're
Whatever
on
you
your
got to
time.
do.
We're on your time.
Just relax over there.
Are you telling me that there's only 10 minutes left?
This is a live stream. We
Yeah,
got 3 hours to
can
go.
keep going.
We're here all day.
Yeah, I want to
No.
get through these questions. So, Kuzi, Tarza, any plans for Red 5 to support streamers? His example is giving them Red Bean codes to promote them a bit more. Red Bean codes is probably not something we're going to do for a while. We don't have the system in place to
give out red beans.
to give out red beans.
Giving out money.
At least not to give out codes for red beans, because that's a whole nother system that we have to do. So I don't think that we'll do that. You mentioned here that though we can talk about the Twitch SDK. That is coming online soon, which should help promote more people streaming the game and make it easier for people to stream. That idea is that Twitch is built into the game, so all you have to do is put in your information and then start streaming directly from the game.
Bam.
You don't need to, do an XSplit or OBS or whatever solution you want to have separate. You can just do it all from the game, and it's being worked on right now. And it's actually performance is getting better and better, so that it only takes a few frames away. So you should actually see better performance than if you used a separate program. Obviously, you won't see better performance if you use a separate computer, but most people aren't that advanced and don't have that kind of setup, so they just have.
How are we gonna watch
computer.
T2 dance?
Well, so I don't know if they're adding in the ability to have webcam pipe back through. I think that's a more advanced functionality. I think right now it's really just streaming gameplay and audio.
Yeah.
But once that's in, that means that as quickly as pushing a button, you could start streaming to Twitch, which is awesome, right?
Yeah. I guess I wanted to touch on Kuzi's question a little bit too, like the support for streamers. It's no secret that we're working on supporting our fan sites. And I mentioned this on 8-Bit too. Like I do want to do something in there where we support streamers to some extent, as where the same level as we support fan sites.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Just give them some stuff, maybe interviews and stuff, because we're talking about doing those for fan sites.
Yeah.
Maybe do interviews with the streamers, like hop on and play with them. Stuff to integrate to make them feel like part of the family.
For those of you that stream often, what do you want? What would you like to see? I mean, giveaways are great, but I'll tell you one thing: giveaways will not get you users, right? And we all want more viewers. It helps us if you guys have more viewers, so I'd love to have you have more viewers. But if you're just doing giveaways in order to get those viewers, you're not going to build up your audience the way you want to. So what would you guys like to see? Let us know, and we'll try to do the best we can to really loop that back in. I'm happy to support viewers. I watch pretty much every stream that you guys do. I'm in there, I'm watching you.
Phobos sees all.
I see y'all.
Watching everything.
Moving on to a question about, are we getting more PvP modes and maps, specifically for Sabotage or Harvester soon? I don't think nobody's working on any more maps for Sabotage or Harvester game types right now.
Yeah.
Our focus is on an esport game type, so when anything works towards that. We have CTF in the works. I've seen we've worked on CTF before. We've had some maps that are kind of partially done. We have another game type that's being worked on that's hopefully the esports game type, because even CTF, we think that an esport mode works better with a single objective, so that's what we're going to try first and see what you guys think. We have some plans. That's probably coming more towards the March-April timeframe, when we can even start talking about that more in detail. We have some big plans in March and April, so I'm going to save that for March, but I think some of you out there already know. I've already talked to a bunch of you guys about what's going on. So March 8th, I think, is the first. March 8th would be Firefall Live, right?
Sure.
I can check.
If March 8th is the correct date for Firefall Live, expect to see an announcement about what our big plans are. Then,
Big plans.
Big plans.
Should be a lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
The first Friday in March is actually the 1st of March.
But the 8th would be
The
another.
8th is a Friday.
The 8th is a Friday.
Yeah. So the 8th would be the date that we're talking about. That's what I'm currently planning on. I'll let you know if the date changes. But are we going to get more customization options for stuff? In-depth crafting, preferably another design station for guns. Yeah, like I said, crafting is still a first iteration of what we've got going on. We want to bring that back in more and do a lot more with crafting, because there should be a reason that you want to have resources and that you're going out there and get resources. Yeah. Question to you guys, things that have come up in the past are, is it right for everyone to have access to everything? So other games do professions, right? They have crafting professions. You have specializations. Is that something you guys would like to see, or do you prefer the fact that you can do everything? Would you like to see Tony, really has an awesome ability to refine materials. So if he's teched out a tech tree that gives him extra refining capabilities. So I might harvest a bunch of resources, and give it to Tony to refine them down because he'll get a higher percentage yield out of it. And then maybe Frank is really good at building, like actually crafting.
I like how you have to
items.
like pause. Like, what the hell could he be good at?
Frank is good at.
He's good at
Frank is really
wearing
good
red
at being a
hats.
New Jerseyan.
He can walk.
Kind of.
And I've seen him sit, maybe type a few words. But,
Keep the conversation going. It's just an idea, guys, so don't freak out about it, but just talk about it before you guys. Oh my God, no, you can't do that. No, think it through a little bit and think about how it works. We really want to make sure that crafting builds its own economy and that there's something going on. Again, completing that circle around crafting. Are there going to be more LGVs and just? We talked about vehicles, but this is specifically about more LGVs than just bikes. The LGV is pretty much the bike. So the light ground vehicle is. The next stage up would be like a medium or a heavy vehicle that are being worked on, but I don't think there are any current plans, only current, that can change in the future, to create additional light ground vehicles. But I could see definitely far in the future that we'd obviously create more and more vehicles across the board. At one point we had ATVs in the game, which were pretty cool. So it kind of depends. Armies we already talked about. What's R5's stance on visiting the United Kingdom or the EU in the near future?
Oh, get ready.
We're not allowed in Europe.
we're not allowed in Europe. Yeah,
we
kick,
a big stamp in my passport says not allowed in the EU. No, just kidding.
Yep.
We are definitely going to visit sometime in the near future. I don't know when per se. I think I might be headed out to Ireland sometime in March-ish. Ish. I don't know. But that's just for visiting the Ireland office.
How are we going to do Firefall Live without you?
Oh, I know. You know what we should do? We should all three go, and we just do Firefall Live from Ireland.
That sounds great.
That's a plan.
I mean, I would be willing to go to Ireland for that.
I'll just grab Matthias and Karsten and we'll do it.
Damn it.
Wow, you know what?
How easily we just got replaced.
It doesn't matter because we could still run it here, and then we could just grab like Ragin to come by.
Anyways, we definitely want to go back to the EU. We've gone out to Germany a few times. I'd love to visit the UK as well. I've never been to England except for stopping through Heathrow. So I'd love to go. We'll see what happens this year. It'd be great. We've talked about Eurogamer. We've talked about Gamescom. We've talked about Paris Games Week. Kind of all depends on what's going on around those times. But we definitely love to visit, and when we do, we'll definitely do a meetup of some sort.
Yeah, it'd be great. Entropy
What
Rising.
gaming conventions? So it's asking. I see some other people asking the question. Gaming conventions will be Red 5 be attending this year. So we currently have no plans to do a booth at PAX East this year. We are planning something at PAX East, but it won't be a big booth. We've done PAX many years. We've been known for being at PAX over the years.
Yes, we have. Both to PAX goers and the.
As some other developers say, like PAX is inside the Firefall booth. So no Firefall at PAX, but Frank and I will be out there. We will absolutely be out there meeting with people and talking, regardless of what we do. We want to do something, but we just aren't sure yet.
Will there be swag? Yeah, John brings up a good point. They're going to miss the Firefall carpet. Some developers got to have to
just bring a small patch and then you just put it down on each
great.
stand.
Here you go.
But,
everyone get a touch.
Yeah, we'll be.
As for the rest of the shows, we don't know yet. This year is a special year for us. We're launching, right? We're going open beta and beyond. So it's kind of a question of what do we need to do for shows. Shows are all about marketing, right? So are they worth the money to go and do everything? It's it's a business decision. So we're still trying to figure that out. We tried to go to PAX Australia, couldn't get the budget to do it. But again, Frank and I will be there. We're definitely going. I got the budget for that.
Yes.
Be my first time in Australia, so I hope see you guys there.
I heard it's
I'll be
Australian
here, guys.
winter.
Don't worry about it. I'll be holding down the couch
Tony will be here, sitting there.
by myself. With the couch. It'll be a whole lot of fun.
I'm sure you'll be okay. You'll make it.
Thanks.
I promise.
Ass.
Anyways, so PAX Australia will be there just to say hi, and we'll be sure to schedule some kind of meetup so you guys can come and say hi and do things. That'll be pretty awesome. We already talked about other boss creatures, kind of raids. When are you going to tackle the system requirements? Dual/quad core love. So I assume you mean like SMP processing. Like Firefall's not fully SMP right now. It uses 1 core to max, and that's pretty much it. I don't know what the plans are for that. I know on our server side, we're making them use multiple processors. So that's one of the things we're working on this quarter, is to really increase server performance. But on the client side, those guys are constantly optimizing. I think from a graphics standpoint, like a GPU usage, they're constantly tweaking and they're shaving milliseconds off of frame times and things like that, which all adds up. But I don't think that we'll see any major breakthroughs of like, I just went from 30 frames a second to 80 frames a second. That much optimization is already pretty much done. CPU optimization can still happen. I'll check with Lutz or somebody to see if we're doing, if Lutz is in there in the channel, if we're doing SMP processing. I don't think he is, but
if he was there, he'd say, actually, I think it's quite impossible, and then he would get it done in about 5 minutes later.
Yeah, that's Lutz for you. So, but you'll continue to see better and better optimization.
Yep.
But our overall system requirements are not going to go down dramatically. It's just we're kind of at the limits of what we're capable of doing. It's a next-gen game, so trying to run it on your 386 isn't going to happen. Sorry.
To answer a quick question, yeah, we are doing Do You Even Art Bro after the questions, so it is coming. I've seen it pop up like 5 times.
I've never seen anyone ask that question. I know it's important to you, but not a single person asked it.
Legend 57 has asked it like 3 times.
Calm down.
Legend
Tony,
has asked it like 3 times,
calm down.
and I was just wanting to
All right, okay.
scroll through chat, scroll through chat,
We're
and
here.
show.
We're here.
Show 'em.
We're here. Calm down. Breathe.
I can't handle this right now.
Will there ever be another kind of Firefall Fest?
Oof, God,
Yes.
I'd love to.
Yes. Probably not nearly the size that it was before, but we'd love to do a Firefall Fest again and make sure that we have a big celebration. It happened in October, though, so that's not that long ago. Please give us time to. We're still recouping from that show.
Dude, yeah.
Give us some time. And LGV racing, we already talked about. So that's all the questions we have on the papers. I think we've answered some. I'm sorry, Winghaven, we have not talked about the esports. That is one. Actually, that was one question I skipped over here. What's going on with esports plans? And that includes the $1 million tournament. So I think you can all agree that Firefall is not ready for esports, right? I think we're all, in its current state, it is not a perfectly balanced game that we can expect to ship out there and have fair matches. We have so many changes coming that we can't really stabilize the build and move it off and then say this is our esports build for the next time. So until that's ready, we really don't want to dive into doing that tournament. We thought we would be there by now, right? So that is a mistake on our part. Let's be honest, right? We thought we would be much further along than we are right now. We released some things that put us back because we had to then reiterate. We had to spend a lot of time rethinking things, rebuilding core systems, so we weren't able to build the other systems that are needed for a good esports game. We also need to increase, get that esports game type out and test it and get it balanced and all those kind of things. Not expecting any major esports plans until summer at the earliest at this point. What does that mean for the $1 million tournament kind of setup? I don't know. We don't know yet. Does it mean that we could start some tournaments this year and move it into it's part of a 2012, 2013, or 2000? God.
Wow.
2013, 2014 season, right? And it breaks just like football season. It goes through the winter and then ends in February or March. Don't know yet. Could it be all one big, massive, bam tournament at the end of the year? Potentially. We don't know. We're trying to see. So, but for those of you that are practicing and keeping things going, keep doing it. Keep providing us feedback on what is required to make an esports system for you. What do we need to do to balance? Please, look forward to the PvP PvE split. Again, in March 8th, we'll announce some big plans for the esports game type and what we're going to do to really hype that up. So expect those kind of things going.
Cool.
So apologies that we don't have a better answer for that. I know you guys are looking forward to that, but we don't really have. We can't say right now because I think we all agree that we're not ready for that.
We're working on it.
Yeah, whoever asked that, wall of text question and everybody responded to, it is so far off my screen that I can't even see that anymore. So I don't know what the question was.
Maybe try to shrink it down a bit.
Maybe you try to shorten it to
cut the fat.
Four words or less.
Hey, cut the fat is an editing
Sure.
expression. It is. I took high school journalism. I know a few things.
So we're going to just take a quick break, real quick.
Fairly quick.
And then we'll be back with Do You Even Art Bro? Feel free to keep asking questions. We'll try to answer as many as we can. But we'll be right back.
I'm really excited to meet the team and start meshing with the other people here at Red 5. I've been on the job about 3 or 4 days now. Everything's fantastic. The team's great, but there's this one little thing that's kind of weird.
Hey, no one's given you an LGV yet, right?
What's an LGB?
Hey, Street Fighter tournament right now. Let's go. Shit.
Oh man, I love having an LGV. Every time someone realizes I got one, they're like, damn, they nasty.
I remember when I got mine. Sherry in shipping gave it to me. I don't know where she got it from. I think Tom in shipping. Anyway, you'll get yours soon enough.
Oh, what the hell? I think certain members of the team are trying to give me an STD.
One more thing before we go to lunch, guys. James, our new hire here, doesn't have an LGV, so maybe one of you guys after lunch can handle that for me?
No, that's quite all right.
Seriously, you can have mine.
No, seriously, it's okay.
But it's free.
So once you get your LGV, we should go riding together. It's not as fun if only one of us has it. Anyway, if we don't have one by the end of the week, feel free to tool around with mine.
No. Hey, no.
What the f***? That guy's sick.
Guys, welcome back. We're back at Firefall Live. We answered a lot of questions today. I know that is not nearly the full list of questions you guys have. Feel free to ask them on the forums in the thread that we started for the show, and we'll try to answer as many as we can throughout the next few days. You guys have a lot of questions. It's a lot of great questions, a lot of tough questions, and a lot of questions that we'd love to answer but just can't yet. But keep them coming. You guys keep us honest and make sure that we're answering as much as we can. For now, though, I think it's time to move on to Do You Even Art Bro? We really need an intro for this.
Yeah, that's it. Instead of that,
It's coming.
It would be
It's
an
coming.
intro is being worked on.
It's not being worked on. Well, I mean, it's
being worked on in our heads.
Yeah, it's in concept
right?
phase. It's in concept.
The grinds are moving. The grinds, the gears, the gears are grinding.
Right.
Moving on.
You know what really grinds my gear? No.
Okay, Peter.
Peter.
Oh,
Peter.
Peter.
Anyways,
No, really, grinds my gears. All right.
first of all, what is Do You Even Art Bro?
So Do You Even Art Bro is the monthly fan art competition that we are running on Firefall Live. We started in December, and the first winner was Torek with Oil Spill's Desk, which was hilarious because it's days since the last Thumper incident. If you haven't missed it, it's up on the forums.
It's really awesome.
Yes, so Torek, yours is getting sent out. Should be there next week, middle of next week. So congratulations again. This week, or this month, we already have one winner last week with, who won last week?
You don't even remember.
I can't remember.
Wow.
It's
This is your segment.
I know. I totally went
All
blank
week
right now.
he has one thing to do is just build things
You have
for this
one
segment.
job.
Oh God.
One job.
job.
No, it's
This
not. It's
doesn't
not
even remember.
the only job. Okay. So anyway, we have one winner for this month already, and at the end of the month we will have 4 winners. And then I'm going to put that up on the forums. You guys vote for it, and whichever fan art submission that you like the most, they're going to get the signed poster from the art department. It's pretty sweet. It's a cool poster. Once it's all signed, it looks really cool. It's very exciting.
Doesn't look cool until they sign it.
I mean, it looks cool, but I've seen it before. But once all the signatures on it, you're like, dang, I want to frame
Did
this.
any non-artists sign it?
No,
Did they
only
dirty it up.
only artists. Only the best of the best. Even the bad artists was like, get out of here.
Sullying the,
We don't want
the
you here.
ArcLight poster.
Okay.
Did you
so
sign it, Tony?
Oh.
Maybe. No, I did not sign it.
He just sweat on it.
Yeah. I did a little wipe. I was like, there you go. Ship it off.
Anyway,
It's the ArcLight poster.
All right. So for this first submission, we have got a day in the life. It's kind of a slideshow set to music by Neil. RJ.
Is that what the music goes like? I don't know what the music
yeah,
goes
it's
like.
We're getting yelled at because we're talking over the thing.
Yeah, we
If you
shouldn't
guys
be
want to
yelling.
watch the full thing, RJ goes through his little day in the life of where he gets owned by the Chosen. I'm sure we can share this up on the forums. But
Yeah. We'll put it up on the forums, or you can just ask RJ.
I kind of want to hear Tony do Mario Brothers in scat form, though. That's what he was.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm going to keep going.
Please stop. Anyways,
Okay.
move on to the next slide.
All right, so next slide is we have got the Aegis.
Hey!
He got it right.
Tony was not pronouncing ages properly yesterday.
Okay, I said it one time wrong, and you guys are like
Soft
making
G.
a big deal.
Soft.
I know, soft G. I get it. I get it. Thank you, Frank. So this is from Hotel 6. I really like this. It looks really cool.
Our tally lights aren't on.
Tally lights aren't on anymore.
They broke.
I don't know
No,
what's
they're on
going
this,
on.
guys. Duh. You guys are horrible people.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, when they switch to the picture. And
All
they
right.
can't be
I forgot
hands.
that we were showing that off of the PC.
Anyways,
So, what do you guys think about Hotel 6's Aegis?
I saw his thread where he like showed the progress of it. I thought it was pretty cool, like how he did it in like SketchUp and like use other tools and stuff to create that.
I'm gonna have to be the critical person.
Oh boy.
Grumpy cat.
Here we go.
Grumpy cat.
Grumpy cat doesn't like it.
No, I actually do like it. I love the artistry of it. I think it's a great job. Modeling it took a lot, but it's not the Aegis.
No, it's not. It's
That's the ArcLight with the Aegis written on the side of it.
Just rip
For those of you, hey, I did the lore. Okay, so the Aegis is a ship that's a cargo ship that's bringing Crystite back and forth from Alpha Prime to the Earth.
Oh.
It had no weapons on it.
It doesn't have any self-defense?
A lot of the whole point of the ArcLight was the fact that it was a military vessel, and why were we sending a military vessel to Alpha Prime? So, yeah, it's an ArcLight with Aegis written on the side of it.
Well,
It's a beautiful ArcLight with
It is.
Aegis written on the side of it.
Dang.
I love it.
Hey, yo, Hotel 6. Nice art, bro, but it sucks.
Wow.
I didn't say it.
That was
Just
brutal.
Kidding. Just kidding.
That was
Anyways, moving on.
brutal.
Next.
Okay. I like it. Okay, so the next art piece that we can critique and slap down.
Oh, yes, this
is,
one.
Oh, this one. It figures that this is the next one. Oh God. Okay, so this is from Dean. This is called the Arana Herder. I think it looks really cool, but we discussed before. It's
What
not
makes it
really,
an Arana herder?
Yeah, we don't really.
What is an Arana herder?
I
I don't know
know.
what a Rana herder is.
I mean, I think it'd be a cool concept for the game, like having like this master of the Arana that like herds them.
kind of like the Masters of the Universe.
I don't know. It feels like maybe an art piece that was done that was like, oh, I'm gonna put a Firefall logo on it, and
Jeez.
I mean,
You're
I'm being
just
honest.
brutal. This.
No,
Do you
here's the
even
thing.
art, bro?
I know. Here's the thing.
You okay? You
It
getting
does
choked up
have
on
like
this?
very chosen-esque features.
I'm choking on my own spit. Have you ever done that?
At least it's not your own sweat.
Great.
No, here's the thing. I had spit sitting on my tongue, and I breathed in, and I was like, oh, and I choked on it. That happens. That's not weird.
Ooh, Oddworld. It does look a little bit
Don't
like
turn
a-
this into a weird
Yeah,
thing.
it does look like Oddworld.
I think it looks amazing.
No, it's great. It's
I
a
love
great
the
render,
artwork.
beautiful.
Yeah,
like
it's-
Like for a couple
from
days.
DeviantArt.
Couple days, this was on my
Now, do we
desktop
know that
background.
he actually made this and didn't just steal something from DeviantArt and then put Firewall
Well,
logo on it?
I don't know, but we'll
I
link to
hope
the
he did
DeviantArt
not,
for
because
sure.
that is clearly stated in all caps rage on.
all caps rage.
Yes, that you cannot. It has to be your own work. So I have no way to check
Well, it's
that.
beautifully rendered, beautifully textured.
Yeah.
It looks awesome as a little alien dude. Not sure what it has to do with Firefall.
It does look
I
alien.
like it though. I do really like the artwork of it.
Yes.
So
I
on
did.
to the
Anyways,
next one.
Moving on.
So this is from Vitriolic. Vitriolic. How do you say that? Vitriolic?
Vitriolic.
Oh, Vitriolic. I don't know.
Vitriolic.
Oh
Vitriolic.
boy, you're gonna get your ass kicked by Carson Matthias when you get back.
That's,
Oh, he's
you
making
know,
fun of them with the German accent.
I know. I know. I'm like, oh, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Anyways.
It gets worse.
It does. It gets way worse. That's why we're stopping it there. I like this.
Vitriolic. Fluffy Def gave it to you right there. Boom.
Vitriolic. Thank you. So yeah, this is. I like this. I think it looks cool. I really like the skin tone of it.
Yeah, skin tone.
Why are you turning this dirty? I just said.
I really
skin tone.
It's a cool skin. Yeah, skin tone, bro.
Bro.
I like the skin tone. It's shiny. Like she's.
It's
You're just digging yourself into a
that
hole.
skin tone.
Man.
Anyway, I really enjoy this style, and Vitriolics, I think we've showcased before we had Do You Even Art Bro, like in some of the earlier episodes, some of their work, and I really enjoy this piece right here.
I like it. I think it could be a cartoon. I'd love to see this in motion.
Yeah.
Have
You'd like to see it in motion.
No.
I would actually. With a bunch of other characters, you know, maybe it kind of reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah. Yeah. I
like a
can see that.
cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I like it.
All right, so it's time to vote. Well, I'm going with the Aegis.
Thank you for saying it properly.
You're welcome for saying it properly. I like it. This is really cool. Yeah, I like it. Frank?
I still haven't decided between
Oh,
Vitriolics
God.
and the Aegis.
Okay.
You've seen these since yesterday, Frank. You
I
had
know.
plenty of time to make up this life-altering decision.
This is very important.
I'm going to have to go with Vitriolic.
You go who?
Vitriolic.
Vitriolic. Oh, it's a tie. Let's go,
I
Frank.
love the Arc Aegis as much as the next guy, but
the Arc Aegis.
Aegis.
The Aegis lights.
Aegis, it means shield.
The Aegis light.
Oh man. So Frank, it's time to choose.
It's tied. It's up to you, Frank.
Oh man, this is rough.
Whose heart are you gonna break, Frank?
Oh man, Hotel 6, I love you, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go with Vitriolics, the Assault.
Wow. I really did not see that coming. Really? Okay. Hey, I mean, I like it. I clearly I have some kind of disgusting relationship with the coconut skin tone of this. It looks like she uses coconut oil.
That's
which
right,
I
party
find-
size, because Assault.
Oh my
Assault's
God.
OP, even in fan art.
Anyways, this will move on to the monthly finals. Nice job, Vitriolic. Nice job, Hotel 6, everybody that presented. We've got more and more in the works. How do they submit,
Yes.
Tony?
Submit to community@Red5 Studios. Community@Red5 Studios. Submit with the subject line fan art submission, please. I get a lot of submissions. It'd be very helpful if that's what you do. And then in the email, obviously attach the artwork, whatever that may be, and you'd be surprised. and then your name and your address, so that way I don't need to collect any more information from you. If you win, I just send you your poster. This Vitriolic, you will move on to the next round, and at the end of the month, we'll be once again posted on the forums where you guys will vote for your winner.
Awesome.
Yes.
Great.
Very exciting.
Thank you very much, everybody that joined us for Firefall Live, our second episode of January. Be sure to come back next week, where we will hopefully not promise you anything that we can't deliver.
Ha!
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say what's going to happen next week, but hopefully you'll tune in because I hope it's a special week.
Right.
Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Say no more, say no more.
Say no more, say no more.
Say no more. What is that from?
Oh, jeez.
And on that obvious revelation that Tony doesn't watch Monty
no.
Python, we are going to go ahead and take this one. See you guys later.
I'm 25 years
Have a
old.
good
I don't
night.
watch.
Bye.